In a part of town over 100 years old, something is different this summer. Where a towering cottonwood tree, believed to be a century old, once shaded the historic McIlvoy house, now stands a commemorative sculpture of the woman who once lived here.
Clemency was a well-known person in town. She did a lot for the community and absolutely did a lot. She donated this land, which became Arvada's first public park.
McIlvoy Park, a popular gathering place, and the McIlvoy House, now home to the Arvada Historical Society, have become landmarks in Arvada. But in 1897, it was the land that pioneers Dennis and Clemency McIlvoy settled on, and upon which they built their home to live out their lives after a lifetime of adventures.
We know that she was a very rugged lady.
Believed to have been married in 1854, Clemency and Dennis traveled for years, even seeking gold for a time.
Clemency was known as one of the first white women to go up into the mountains with her husband and battle Indians and wild animals, because most ladies would stay home and wait for their husbands to come home, but Clemency was right along with him.
From articles and memoirs of others, Clemency was known as a tell-it-like-it-is person.
Another memoir that we have found written is people knew that Dennis would ride the horse into town every Saturday so that he could buy a pound of chocolate for the dog Dago and tobacco for his wife's pipe. And she was often seen in the gardens carrying her cane over her arm and either smoking a pipe or a big black cigar.
The couple never had children of their own, but kids around town loved them.
They kind of took to themselves a little bit later. They say that they didn't travel very far from their home, but they read a lot of books and they liked to share their knowledge with the kids in town. So the kids knew them as Uncle and Auntie Mac, and the kids would come running when they'd see him out in the yard.
After Dennis died, Clemency decided to donate the land to the city of Arvada. As for the old cottonwood,
we speculate that it was planted probably around the same time that the house was built.
When a storm in 2012 took out a huge branch that narrowly missed the house and actually destroyed another nearby tree, city crews determined it was probably best to remove the towering hazard. So branch by branch, the historic cottonwood came down. But when it came time to the final stump, sadness over losing this majestic giant gave way to a new idea. Bonnie called David Mitchell, a local tree carver.
I had no doubt in my mind that Clemency should be back in her garden.
For a month in the spring of 2013, David donated his time and talent to bring the idea to life. He's been carving trees along the Front Range for decades. His business, The Enchanted Forest, has been around since 1990.
I love wood. You never know what you're going to find in a piece of wood, and different woods have different qualities, and they all have a lot of beauty in some way. I first started carving really when I was just a kid. I've just always been an artist at heart.
Working from pictures of Clemency, David patiently chiseled a likeness of her.
The two photos that we have, interestingly enough, Clemency is standing by a tree, actually touching trees. Not this particular tree, but she had a love for flora.
As the sculpture took shape, for Bonnie, it confirmed the choice to use the cottonwood to commemorate Clemency's donation. And even in these progressive times, she says there is room for the past.
We like to see progress, but we want to remember the history and try to preserve the parts that are here for the future, because it's been here already for over 100 years.
Plans are underway to add a garden to the statue, and you can help. On June 22nd, a tour of local gardens will benefit the new McIlvoy Garden. You can purchase tickets for the tour for $15 at the Flour Mill Pavilion at 5590 Old Wadsworth on the day of the tour. For additional information, call 303-421-2032.